Welcome back to the course Engineering Chemistry. I am Dr. Harika Patnala, Associate Professor, Department of Chemistry, MLR Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. In today's class, we are going to learn about the energy sources. What are the energy sources? And what is meant by fuel? And various types of energy sources. And how we are going to get these energy sources. And what are their units? How to calculate their energy source? How much amount of each and every fuel is going to get the energy. Each and every fuel is having certain amount of energy. How we are going to calculate those? How we are getting the fuel from the crude oil? How the crude oil is separated into various fractions of the fuel? And there are the various types we are going to get this inside the petrol, like Fischer-Tropsch process. In order to supply the today's needs, we require the petrol as energy fuel. So how we are going to get the petrol in various forms? One is from the crude oil, and second one is the Fischer-Tropsch process, and the third one is the catalytical cracking. And we are going to learn about the gaseous fuels like LPG and CNG and its applications. In this chapter, we are going to learn about the hethane, which is alternative fuel nowadays people are using. And one more fuel is green hydrogen. All these fuels comes under SI, and there are the other energy sources such as batteries. There are the types of batteries, primary and secondary batteries, and reserve batteries, and their advantages and applications, and with examples. In this chapter, we are going to learn about the fuel cells, the various fuel cells which are having demand nowadays. There are the different types of fuel cells: hydrogen fuel cell, methanol oxygen fuel cell, phosphoric acid fuel cell. All the main motto is to generate the electricity from the fuel cell. So let us start with the introduction of a fuel in today's class. A fuel. A fuel is a combustible substance. We know that there are the materials which undergoes combustible. This comes under fuels. Why? They will generate energy. Fuel is a combustible substance containing carbon as a main constituent, which on proper burning gives a large amount of heat. These are the fuels which gives a large amount of heat was generated, which can be used economically for domestic and industrial purpose. Every industry required fuel for the generation of electricity or for the boilers to boil the water. For the steam generation, we required energy. So the alternative one is fuel, then electricity, other than electricity. So in the domestic, each and every household, they are having LPG or CNG gas and any other fuels. In our vehicles, we are going to use the petrol. So all these fuels, the main constant of a fuel is the carbon content. This is the carbon content, this is the main constant of each and every fuel. A fuel, when reacts with or undergoes oxidation in the presence of oxygen, it gives the products plus heat. It generates products and heat energy, which we are going to utilize. The products are some of the poisonous gases, sometimes which are the pollutants. And next come to the classification of fuels. On the basis of occurrence of fuels, fuels are classified into primary and secondary. Primary is nothing but directly obtained from the nature, and secondary which is obtained from either from primary or which is man-made. Again, each one is divided into three types based upon their physical state. So primary fuels are classified into three types, and secondary fuels are classified into three types based upon their physical state. One is solids, liquids, and gaseous. Primary fuels are found in nature. Secondary fuels are produced from the primary fuels. Let us see the classification. The fuels. These are the primary which are obtained from the nature, and the secondary fuels which are derived from the primary. Let us see all the three classifications based upon their physical state. Let us come to the primary. Primary is nothing but solid, liquid, gaseous. The solids, wood. We know that wood is obtaining from the nature. Wood After a long time, when it is buried deep into the earth, in the absence of oxygen, its wood is converted to the peat, lignite, coal. So, wood is containing the less percentage of carbon. After many more years, wood is converted to peat, lignite, and coal. Finally, it is coal. Coal is a natural fuel which is obtained directly from the nature when the wood is undergone for a long time within the buried into the deep into the soil in the absence of oxygen. And the dung, any animal cow dung nowadays, not nowadays, from the long back we are using the cow dung as a fuel, cow dung pellets. And the liquid fuels are crude oil, which are either from the oceans or any forest areas, any areas which is having a rich content of carbon content within the soil, we are going to get the crude oil. The third one is a gaseous, and which is a natural gas. We're digging the oil wells. So the first most gaseous which is obtained is natural gas, which is containing higher 70% is of methane carbon content. And let us move to the secondary fuels which are derived from the primary fuels. Solid. First one is coke and charcoal which are obtained from the coal. And liquid fuels. The crude oil is separated into various fractions based upon their boiling points. So we will get the tar, kerosene, diesel, petrol, oil. And LPG, CNG also we are going to get. Gasoline is nothing but petrol only. LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. LPG, which is a liquid fuel, which is stored under high pressures within the cylinder. And gaseous fuels like coal gas, water gas, oil gas, and biogas, all these are derived from the primary fuels. Biogas is obtained from the food waste. As the food waste from the organic waste, we can generate the biogas. Coal gas and water gas and oil gas, which are obtained from the either crude oil or some other sources, which are having higher carbon content. Let us move to the next topic is what are the characteristics of a good fuel? A good fuel or an ideal fuel. While selecting an ideal fuel for domestic or industrial purpose, we should keep in mind that the fuel selected must possess the following characteristics. It should possess high calorific value. See guys, whatever the fuel we have chosen, the main aim is we require energy. So it should give the high calorific value. It should have proper ignition temperature. There are the fuels which immediately ignite. There are the fuels which are having very delay to ignite. But these should have a characteristic good fuel should have the proper ignition temperature. The ignition temperature should neither too low or not too high. It should not be low or should not be high. Let us take a wood or a coal. It takes more time to ignite. Or LPG, CNG. Let us take an LPG, which ignites very fastly. So a characteristic good fuel should have the moderate ignition temperature. It should not produce any poisonous gases or products during the combustion. There are the fuels which undergoes incomplete combustion and gives carbon monoxide, which is very dangerous, which is the poisonous one. So, in other words, it should not cause any pollution or on combustion. It should not cause any pollution or combustion. On combustion, it should not cause any pollution. It should have the moderate rate of combustion. The rate of combustion should be very moderate. Combustion should be easily controllable. That is, combustion of fuel should be easy to start or stop when required. So, the combustion should be the controllable. Either if we want to, see, let us take the LPG in our gas stove. So, we can switch on easily and we can switch off easily. Everything should be under our control. You should not leave any behind of ashes on combustion. You should not leave any solid impurities such as ash on combustion, smoke, dust. It should be easily available in plenty. A good fuel should be available in plenty. It should have low moisture content. If it is having low high moisture content, so most of the fuel is wasted for the drying of that fuel only. So it should have the low moisture content. It should be in cheap, easily available and cheap. It should be easy to handle and transport. Transportation should be easy. Let us take that liquids and gaseous fuels easily can be transported through pipelines. So therefore the transportation and handling, wood and coal can be easily handled, whereas LPG CNG cannot be handled easily. So we have to choose a fuel which is having easy to handle and easy to transport, which is having high calorific value. Let us move to the next topic is calorific value. Just now we have discussed about that. What's characteristics of a good fuel? A good fuel should have high calorific value. Let us know that calorific value is nothing but amount of heat liberated. It's nothing but amount of heat liberated when unit mass or unit volume of the fuel is completely burnt in air or oxygen. When a fuel is burnt, it releases heat energy. The total amount of heat energy is nothing but calorific value. If it releases high calorific value, let us take that LPG releases high calorific value. So it is the amount of heat liberated when unit mass or the unit volume of the fuel is completely burned. Let us know the units of the heat. One of the unit is calorie. The amount of heat required to increase the temperature of 1 gram of water through 1 degree centigrade. If you take 1 gram of water, 1 gram of H2O, if its temperature is 25 degrees centigrade, you want to increase the temperature till 26 degrees centigrade. So the amount of heat required to rise the temperature of water from 25 to 26 through 1 degree centigrade, that is the amount is nothing but heat required is nothing but calorie. Kilocalorie, it is equal to 1000 calories. Nothing but the quantity of heat required to rise the temperature of 1 kg of water. Previously we have discussed about 1 gram of water. Now it is 1000 grams of water or 1 kg of water through 1 degree centigrade. If you take again 1 liter of water, this is 1 liter of water, not increase the temperature from 25 degrees centigrade to 26 degrees centigrade, the amount of heat required to rise the temperature of 1 kg of water through 1 degree centigrade. Let us move to the next unit is British thermal unit. This is nothing but the terminology has been changed. The quantity of heat required to rise the temperature of 1 pound of water through 1 degree Fahrenheit. See, in India, we used to talk about in the terms of grams and centigrades. In other countries, they used to use the terminology of about pounds and Fahrenheit. 1 British thermal unit is equal to 252 calories or 0.252 kilocalories. Centigrade heat unit. This is the other unit, nothing but the quantity of heat required to rise the temperature of 1 pound of water through 1 degree centigrade. Here the weight units are pounds and that temperature units are in centigrades. So 1 kilocalorie is equal to 3.968 British thermal units, which is nothing but 2.2 centigrade heat units. These are all about the units of the fuel which we are using heat energy for the heat energy. Okay, in today's class, just we have discussed about the what are the various topics are concentrated in these energy sources and like batteries, fuel cells, and how we are going to extract the petrol from the crude oil, how we are going to synthesize the petrol from the other sources, how we are going to get the petrol from heavy oil through catalytic cracking. All these are the various topics we are going to learn in the future classes and units, and we have come across about the basics, what is meant by fuel and classification of fuels. Classification of fuels. One is primary fuel and the second one is secondary fuels. Primary fuels which is obtained from the nature and secondary fuels which are obtained from the primary fuels. And each one is classified based upon the physical state like solid, liquid and gaseous. Similarly, secondary fuels are also classified as solid fuels, liquid fuels and gaseous spheres. And what are the characteristics of a? What are the various characteristics of good fuel or ideal fuel? There are the characteristics such as it should have high calorific value, should be available in plenty, it should have moderate ignition temperature, and it should have easily available, plenty, easy to for the transportation, and its ignition temperature should be under controllable, its combustion should be controllable. So there are the various characteristics what we have required either in domestic or industrial levels, and we have discussed about the units calorific value and the units of heat calorie, kilocalorie, British thermal unit, centigrade heat unit. In the next class, we are going to discuss about the Joulong's formula, how we are going to calculate the HCV and LCV, higher calorific value and lower calorific value, how to calculate the higher calorific value and lower calorific value using Joulong's formula. Thank you.